Hi everyone, this is Selina. Welcome back to one of my videos. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name's Selina and I release a crochet tutorial every week. And this week I'm bringing to you a simple granny square. I'm going to go through a step-by-step tutorial to show you how to crochet a granny square in a very simple and straightforward way, and it's a very beginner friendly. So for this project you will need some yarn. I am going to use Bernat Softy Baby, which is 100% acrylic and it's a DK Light 3 weight yarn. And I'm also going to be using a 4.5mm hook. However, I just want to say that you can use whichever yarn you prefer. However, just make sure that you match the crochet hook number to the one that's written on the packet of yarn that you use. And you will also be needing a pair of scissors and a tapestry needle, and that's it. So I hope you enjoy this simple tutorial. I will be speaking in US terms with British terms in brackets. And also, thank you so much for following me. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel for a crochet tutorial every week. And thank you for everyone who supports me on Patreon. I will be linking everything, all my socials in the down bar. And I will be linking also all of my videos and also all the materials that I've used for this project. And also the free written pattern is up on my blog, selinaveronique.com. And that link will also be in the description box. So thank you so much for watching, and I'm just going to jump into the tutorial. So to begin your granny square, you will be chaining 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Once you've chained 4, you will be slip stitching into the first chain that you created, like so. And this creates a circle into which we will be crocheting. So now that you've done that, you will be chaining 3, 1, 2 and 3. And this counts as our first double crochet. So what we are going to be doing is we are going to be working inside this center from going forward, and we are going to be fastening in this loose end as we go. So now now we are going to be placing 2 more double crochets inside this center. And so to create your double crochet, you will be wrapping your yarn around your hook and going into the center. Pull up your yarn and you have 3 loops on your hook. Take your yarn and pull through 2 loops, and take your yarn and pull through 2 loops, and this creates a double crochet. Now we are going to be making another double crochet, so just go ahead and do that, and this creates a cluster of 3 double crochets, and this is the beginning of this first round. So now chain 2, 1 and 2, go back into that center and place 3 double crochets. So just place a cluster of 3 double crochets inside that center, and as you can see, we are fastening in that loose end as we go. So 3, this is what we have. Now chain 2, 1 and 2, and go back with 3 double crochets into this center. So 1, 2, 3. And now we have, as you can see, 3 clusters. Now to finish off this round, chain 2, 1 and 2. And go back with a cluster of 3 double crochets inside that center. So 1, 2 and 3. Chain 2, 1 and 2. And now to close off this round, we are going to go into the third chain that we chained at the beginning and slip stitch. So just go through that third chain at the top and slip stitch to close off this round. And this is the first round of our granny square. So as you can see, I'm just going to take my hook out just because it will be easier. So as you can see, we've got 4 clusters of 3 double crochets, and they are all separated with a chain 2, and this creates the corners. So this will make sense as we go along. But so now for round 2, you are going to be chaining 3, 1, 2 and 3, and this counts as our first double crochet. And what you are going to be doing now is turning your work. And the reason why we are turning our work, and we will be turning our work at every round, is that because if you don't turn your work whilst you are making a granny square, it does tend to look a bit twisted. So turning your work just enables this pattern to stay supple and straight. So I hope this is making sense, but I don't know if you've ever seen a photograph of a granny square where the person hasn't turned it at every row, and it does tend to look a bit wonky and weird. So just turn your work at every round, and I think it's a lot easier. Also, like, the pattern makes a lot more sense when you turn it round, but that's just me. So we've turned it round. This is our chain 3, so the first double crochet. What you are going to be doing is going back into this center, so this chain 2 space, which is a corner, and place 2 double crochets inside that corner. So just go ahead and place 2 double crochets inside that center, and now chain 2, 1 and 2. And so because this counts as our first double crochet, this is a cluster of 3 double crochets. Go back into that space with 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3 double crochets. And this is what it looks like. And this is a corner, so I'll be going over this again as we go along, but just so you know, each corner going forward will be a cluster of 3, chain 2, cluster of 3. Now we are going to be going directly into the next chain 2 space from the previous row, so just go directly into that with 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1 and 2, and go back into that center because this, not center, go back into that space because obviously this is a corner also. So just go back with 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And as you can see, this creates our granny square shape. So again, we've got this cluster of 3, chain 2, cluster of 3. Now go directly into the next space and place 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. And again, this is a cluster of 3, chain 2, 3. And now go in directly into the next chain space from the previous row and place 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, 2, and 3. And this is our last stitches, and also a corner, as you can see, that we've just created. And we're just going to close off this round by slip stitching into the chain 3 at the beginning. So just go ahead and slip stitch at the top of that to close off round. And this is what we have. So this is what we have for round 2, and as you can see, this granny square is looking a lot like a granny square. So what's happened is that we now have not only corners like here and here, where we always place a cluster of 3, chain 2, a cluster of 3, but we also have simple spaces at the sides, and these are going to grow as the granny square grows, where we will be placing just simple clusters of 3 double crochets, but this will make sense as we carry on this pattern. So this is round 2 and the granny square is growing. So now for the next round we are going to be chaining 3, 1, 2 and 3. So this chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, and this is a what I will call a simple space. So that's where we will be placing a simple cluster of 3 double crochets. So just place 2 more double crochets into this stitch. So 1 and 2, and obviously because the chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, this is a cluster of 3 double crochets, and because this is a side stitch, I don't know if that's the name, but it's one of those non-corner stitches, a simple cluster of 3 double crochets is what is needed. And as the granny square is going to grow, you will have more and more simple clusters. So I hope that makes sense, and less corners, because obviously with it being a square you will only have 4 corners no matter what. So just bear that in mind. So as the granny square grows, these simple stitches, spaces, just clusters of 3 double crochets will grow, but we will still always have only 4 corners. So I hope I'm making sense. So now obviously this is a small granny square, so we can't tell for now, but this will make sense as you go along. So now we're directly going to go into the next space, and this is the corner. So as always, place 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, chain 2 and place another cluster of 3, 1, 2 and 3, because obviously this is a corner, so it's always the same. 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, go directly into the next stitch here, which is a simple cluster. So just go in with 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3. Now go into the next space, which is a corner, with 3, 1, 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3 double crochets. So this is what we have, and now we have a simple a cluster of 3, 1, 2 and 3, and now go into the next space, which is also a corner, with 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1 and 2, 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, and go into the next space with a cluster of 3, 1, 2 and 3, and go into the next space with a cluster of 3, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, 3 And we finished this this round, and so to finish off this round, just go into that top stitch here as always to slip stitch it closed. And as you can see, as the granny square is growing, so are the side simple stitches spaces. So these are these spaces where we will be placing just clusters of 3 double crochets. So as you can see, these are going to grow as the granny square grows, and the corners obviously are just going to stay the same, 4 corners throughout. So I hope this is making sense. This is very easy. Okay, so to finish off your granny square, you are simply going to snip off your yarn and pull through this, pull through this stitch. Obviously, I'm just going to turn this to make this easier. So there we go. Pull it through, and this is what we have. And so this is a granny square. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching.